What is going on, everyone, and welcome to a special video I've been planning on doing. We're going to be talking about the Pearl Shop. Now, this is something I wanted to do because I've been playing this game since 2016 or since the beta, and I wanted to give you guys some information on how to spend your money if you are going to spend your money on like important things in this game. Now, this is less relevant for people who go all out whaling, and this is more tailored towards people who have a budget or just only want to spend a little bit. So a lot of things here can be gotten by events and or just the central market, to be honest. But if you're just looking to get things done pretty quickly, here are some of the things that I think that you will get the most value out of your money with. And let's look at everything in the Pearl Shop. This is how we're going to do it. We're just going to go down the list of everything, and I'll give you my opinions of, is it worth it to buy it straight up, or do I think you'll get it off the central market if you just wait a little bit, or sometimes these will show up as events and you'll just get them from logging in. So let's start with the loyalties, because this is the free currency they give you just by logging in every day. And some of the things that are worth getting and not really worth getting. So right now, at least on NA, I know you could buy costumes just off the market. North American server, we're kind of flooded. It's really a blessing. Whereas I see my friends and some of the streamers on EU, and they're just like, oh, there's orders on costumes all the time. So yeah, I know some of the servers are going to be a little bit different, and that's just how it is. But anyway, loyalties. Get the costumes when you have enough, because they are just free stats. And costumes are a big thing because they either give you stats on your gear, or not really stats per se, but like equip effect. Do I have something I can show you that's not in there? I guess that's it. So let's look at this armor for a second. You get like combat and skill XP. It's not a lot, but I mean, it's more than 0. That's why people wear costumes. And so obviously, besides cosmetic, which is a huge thing in pretty much every game, this one does give you some effects while wearing it, which is why people would consider it pay to win. But ultimately, it really depends on your server. You can get it off the market, so just keep that in mind. Feel bad for the EU people and or other servers. So at least you can get one, at least for the next more than half a year. Save up your loyalties. You get 200 a day. You should be able to get at least one of them. And then everything else, I struggle to recommend. Some of these, like the weight, you should always get with your loyalties. Weight is important. Nadar's parchment is very important. Family inventory, you'll find that very useful later on. Lodging and stable, it's less relevant, but I mean, the longer you play, you just get more loyalties and you just find something to spend it on. But anyway, let's go down into tab 1 with the functions. So the function tab is weight, inventory, consumable, slots, skilled, whatever, miscellaneous. Weight for every class is very important. It is kind of expensive, but I think weight is something that everyone should look into. You don't particularly need max weight, and we'll get into that later, but there are other ways of like not capping out your weight and just still being able to grind efficiently without it, such as the horse stacking method, which has been a thing in the game. I don't know how. I don't think it's really like I think it's just like an oversight of the developers, and a lot of people have even asked them, it's like, hey, should we be doing this? And then the developers know it, they just haven't fixed it in 6 years. You basically, when you have a lot of inventory, you put it on your horse, and then you can just keep stacking weight on there. So I feel like if it was a big issue, they would have fixed it 6 years ago, but they haven't. The devs know about it. A lot of people talk about it as well. So I feel like if it was a really big concerning issue, it would have been fixed years ago. But yeah, weight is pretty important. I still haven't purchased the family weight because you don't need it as much, but your regular weight, it does get expensive if you are playing multiple characters, but if you plan on just playing one character or something, then I would recommend at least picking up the ones you can afford, to be honest. But it does get expensive over time. Inventory is less relevant than weight. So if you were like, hey, do I get inventory versus weight? I would always choose the weight option, because over time, they give a lot of weight or inventory expansions just from playing the game. And like, I probably have some just in my storage, like right here. These are inventories, you know, I've gotten them from events, like 16 slots times 4 of them. That's like 60 slots. And I didn't buy those. They just came from login rewards and events. So basically, login rewards, they give you every now and then. It's not this month, I don't think. Oh, there is one this month. These are special. So yeah. They gives you a total of 192 slots, technically. You most likely will never fill 192. Even if you play one character as your main. I would say maybe like 100-ish, 110 is probably a good point to be at. Plus, there are some quest lines under suggested where you can actually start getting some free inventory. So yeah, you just do quests and it's like inventory expansion quest line, and then you can do that. So make sure to look at that in the future. So just keep in mind, these are less important. You could always just wait and you'll get them for free. All right, so consumables. These are all the very optional items. Like artisan memories are basically a way to speed up enhancing, which is a very big thing in the game. If you don't want to pay to win, just grind more, get more silver, buy mem frags, and don't do that. So I have bought them, but it's not something that's I would consider a necessity. Most of these things, in fact, I don't think I'd pay for. I'm gonna be honest. It's just very convenient items. I don't think they're bad in a way. It's just convenience of, once again, this is more of like a budget, or people who are looking to get the most value out of their money. I would not get them. But weight is important, inventory less important. These are all optional. Slot expansions and all of these. Now, this one's a little bit tricky because every season they discount the character slots. So eventually you do want to have all your characters. So for example, the reason why we have all these characters is not because I actually play all the characters, is because every character can have like a hold a fail stack and starts building energy, right? So if you've been playing this game, you know that energy is used in a lot of things. So basically, having the characters, even if you don't play them, sit there as energy batteries, or if you like enhancing a lot, then you don't have to pay for the Nadar's bands, and they're just free. Or I say free, but less expensive than a Nadar's band, and you obviously could play the characters if you chose to. So yeah, that's why we have energy, or I call them energy batteries, because they just kind of sit there filling up the energy, and then I just use it on something. So technically it is good to buy the character slots up until you're maxed out. It also because you can just play the characters if you want. You test out whatever you want to. So I do think character slots are very important. You should get them even if you don't play the character. So skill preset coupons, you get 2 of them from doing the Awakening and Succession line. I have yet to ever like see a need for more than 2 of them. So the way it works right here is like under here, you get extra skill preset coupons, or not coupons, like preset changes. So the way I set mine up is for if I want to play Succession one day, I'll do that. And Awakening, and then this one is like PvP And then if I wanted to make a PvE one, I could do that. And, or, I guess, I don't know. You really only need 2. But if you want to just go above and beyond, like have a very specific Awakening, Succession PvE, Succession PvP, Awakening PvP or something, whatever, that you could do that. But realistically, you get 2 for free, and you'll be good for the way that is. All right, let's see what's next. Nadar's Parchment. It's very hard to recommend these because you get, like, I think 2 or 3 for free, and plus you could buy one in loyalty. And basically, these are for people who enhance a lot. You basically are allowed to carry more fail stacks without having to swap characters. But I always say just get the coupon, and again, as I said before, you can fail stack on another character. You just have to swap characters. So technically what these do is save time, but I would honestly just choose the character slot coupon over that because it's slightly cheaper in a way, and it gives you more benefits for just having more characters instead of enhancing. Storage and wharf, stable, and workers. I think these are all worth it, but it really is tailored to what you do. So just like over time, I feel like you would need it, but I've also been playing this game for years, and the way you get extra, like, a worker lodging is technically you can do it for free. You just need more contribution points. So, like, let's pick a house, any town. It doesn't matter what town. You can upgrade your storage, more storage spaces, or if you want to have, I don't know, if you want a house, you can have a residence, more storage. And I'm trying to find one that's like workers or lodging. You can hire more workers. So technically you can get this all for free, but each one costs contribution points. And like the more contribution, the more you can do on like a lower budget. But if you are looking to expand those without having as much contribution, you could just buy these. So I do think they are worth buying, but it's one of those things you get over time, and it's not just like, oh, I should just buy all these now. Just over time when you play and you feel like, oh, I actually need this, that's when you get it. So worth it, but at your own pace, worth it. Guild, these are for GMs only or the guild masters. Pretty irrelevant. Are any of these good? I think the premium container is worth it. Here, let me just show you. So you see that thingy glowing right here in the background? That's a premium container. What it allows me to do is basically access my storage in the town it's in without having to go to the storage. So like I keep it in my house specifically for cooking, and that's basically it. Like I walk 3 steps instead of to the storage. So once again, a convenience item for me, but anything else is, I don't know. Brand stones I do think are worth it, sorta, depending on if you grind a lot. Morco's bags are for putting gear into. So there's 2 different kinds of bags. One, like the Morco's bag, which you can hold your gear. I have 2 of them. One for my PvE grinding PvP gear, and one for my life skill gear. Or actually, I just have one, and then I swap between them. So anyway, I have like one of them from that, which I think I got from an event, to be honest. You could probably get it from just login reward eventually. And there's one that you could get from the night vendor, and that one is 0 spent, and you just put like costumes and stuff in there, so your Pearl Shop costumes. Now this one, let me show you. Like I have an extra... Do I have an extra? Okay, yeah, a Patrigo's bag. Now you get this from the night vendor, and you just put stuff in there. You don't have to spend any money. so that's good. Let's see what else. These are all very specific. Probably would never recommend buying a compass because you could buy that off the Pearl, or not Pearl store, the Central Market, the compass pieces for free, or like very cheap. This is for re-rollers. It's kind of expensive. Would not really recommend unless you really hard re-roll. But everything else, you could probably pass on it. Value pack is basically the equivalent of a subscription to literally any game. Like, here, pay 30 days for $15. Get some bonuses. I really do think value pack is worth it. Like, if this game, it's not required, but it is pretty nice to get. Every now and then, what I see free-to-play players do is they save up enough loyalty, and eventually they save up enough items and then just sell everything in one day from the loyalty. But honestly, they give you a lot of these from just like login rewards every now and then. I don't think there's any this month, but sometimes they just give you a bunch of goodies, and yeah, you can just buy it. So honestly, if you're gonna play the game and on a low budget, hard to recommend it, but I do think it is very valuable. Now, what else is like blessings and old moon books? I do think they're worth it, but once again, if you're on a budget, do not buy them from the Pearl shop. Buy them off the Central Market. The way you do that is go to Pearl items, functional. And honestly, I think like if I were to put an order on, I could probably get one within a week. People sell them enough to the point where you can just buy them for silver. So yeah, that's the thing. A lot of times they go on sale anyway, so would just wait. Maids are the equivalent of like transaction and storage. This is how it works. You see this icon over here. You can open your storage from here, and like basically anywhere in the world, you could move in and out items with your storage maid within the region you're in. So that's good. Central Market, same thing. Inventory to Central Market. So they actually do give maids away quite often, and so that's why I have 63 of them. Not because I bought 63 of them, but I've bought a few, but then they just, over the 6 years I've been playing, they just kind of give you a bunch. Alright, so... Alright. Someone just pinged me on Discord, hold on. Alright, so let's see, what's next? Under Travel Aid. Maid and Butler. One of those things, the same with like, what was it? The slot expansions. These are one of those as you need it kind of things, but they give you a lot for free. Campsite, this goes on sale so often. Plus they have a lot of like coupons. So I do think these are worth it, but there is a free option for this. That's like, when I say free, I mean like 50 million silver a week kind of thing. So you go to an Old Moon manager in any town, and they sell the parts for it, and it does basically the same thing as the paid one. It's just you pay silver weekly, and this is what the tent looks like if you have the icon. So you basically place the tent down, and you could buy buffs, and you could repair your gear from there. So that's what it's for. If you grind a lot, it is worth it. You could also like buy Villa Scrolls without the Villa Scroll itself. So basically you save very small amounts of silver, but you are paying real money. So ultimately, if you are on a budget, you can get this, but it just costs silver instead weekly, whereas this one is a permanent one, and you just buy it once and you're good. I do think this is important, but at $50, it's hard to recommend, or like 40, whatever. Just wait for a sale. Sometimes I've seen it go down like 50%. So at 50%, I think it's definitely a must. Fairies are kind of like not needed. So here's the thing. Here's my fairy. Here's how it works. Fairies come from tier 1 to tier 4. Every tier gives you an extra skill. You get this one by default. If it's yours is at tier 1, you get 1 skill. Tier 2, 2 skill, 3, 4, right? So later on, once you get the skills, you look at how this works. And it gives you a set of skills, and it allows you to like change up a lot of things. So here's the full list of them. And it could go from level 1 to 4. I actually got kind of silly lucky with my fairy back in the day before there was even like you can basically force your fairy to roll what you want. I personally think that if you are not spending too much, the things you should get on your fairy is you want to try to go for a tier 4 fairy at very minimum, and that doesn't cost any real money. Hold on, sorry, distraction. See, this is how the premium storage works. Premium container, you can just take stuff out. Walking 2 feet. Let me make more of these, and I'm just cooking for the byproducts, to be honest. I don't actually need chicken meat. I have like 700,000. The reason why I'm actually just using it is I'm trying to boost my contribution points, and that's it. And I guess 700,000 chicken meat or grilled bird meat will last me probably for the next 10, 20 years if I play that game this long. Anyway, back on topic. Where were we? Oh yeah, fairy. So, here's how it works. You get fairy petals. 2 of them equals 1 fairy. You take the fairy petals to the Kamasilv Temple. There's an NPC there somewhere that will give you an RNG fairy, whether from tier 1 to tier 4. You get your fairy. Ideally, you want to make it at, or like get a tier 4 one, which is kind of hard, and or tier 3. After you level up your fairy, you can use growth over here, right? You can growth, and then like it's a tier 4 because it goes 10 levels per tier. And then, well, I guess it just tells you right there. Oh, okay. You can read that. Anyway, so you can technically get a tier 4 for free. They've given it away for logins before, but it's not really common. So after that, the things I would say are worth it are Miraculous Cheer as number 1 priority, because it auto uses a potion every 2 seconds. So for all of you who are on like infinite potions, the way it works is you get your Miraculous Cheer at 4, and then you equip your potion, right? And then all the potions in your inventory that are health and mana, it'll give you an option for HP and resources, and then you could move the slider up and down. So yeah, that's how it works. And then it'll just use an auto potion. That means you don't have to push the potion when you're in combat every 2 seconds. That's good. Everything else, feathery steps, is basically more weight. So let's say I have 2,700 weight, right? Now I can go another 25% past my weight limit, and before I slow down on movement. So that's basically another free way of getting weight, right? So this is a very good option. You want to get feathery steps and Miraculous Cheer as high priority. Everything else is kind of irrelevant. The Morning Star is basically, those Atina's light thingies? I could turn it on. You see my fairy, it glows blue. And then now I have a permanent light that I can toggle on and off at will. Does this save me any money? No. Sometimes I use it when it's nighttime because it actually gets kind of dark in some places. But with that said, Tingling Breath is probably the next best option because I've done underwater gathering. I don't do it now because I hate doing it, but let me just show you the other options. You have a fairies tier. It allows you to res without losing XP every hour. They give you so many of these blessing tier thingies. Even as a new player, you'll probably have a lot more than you really need. Or the other option is just don't die. Inexhaustible Well is not a bad choice. It basically allows you to use a purified water or star anise tea in the desert. So hypothermia and heat stroke, where do you get them? If you're in the desert area and it's nighttime, you'll get heat stroke during the day and hypothermia at night if you're just traveling in the desert. It's a 10-minute debuff and then just store to drain your HP. It's kind of irrelevant in 2022, which is why I don't have it. So, I mean, if you have an infinite pot or just any potions ever, this is irrelevant. Fairies tier, just don't die. Underwater breathing is pretty good, especially if you plan on doing any ocean content in the future. So, or if you like gathering underwater, that's good. So I went off on a little tangent there. So fairy is important, but this is what you use to change the orbs and basically resetting a fairy, which I'd hard recommend not doing because it's kind of expensive. This is what you use to upgrade the fairy's level, or you feed it green gear that you can buy off the market. Let me see something. Are there any? No guild missions. All right. Anyway, Pearl Shop apparel. This is a tricky one because outfits on NA, you can buy a lot of them. If you're buying it for cosmetic, that's cool. I always support cosmetic items. If you buy it in a shop, I support it. They can also be used in a way where like they give you extra things. So for example, I'm wearing this canopy one. It allows me to cook things and get more cooking XP. So that's why I use it. These fish ones, they allow you to swim faster for a longer period. This one is an alchemy one, allows you, same as cooking, but for alchemy. Horse training and camo. I still, to this day, I wish the camouflage suits were not in the game because it's obnoxious and that's what it's meant to be. So I have it. I don't use it, to be honest, but the way it works is like if you have a camouflage, you see how my name and everything is blue? It'll turn gray if you have it, and to other people, it'll just say like unknown adventure. So that's all it does. So once again, cosmetics are either used for melting down for cron stones and enhancing, which is where people think the pay to win comes from, which it is in a way, or you could use it as cosmetics. So I support cosmetic use. Accessories, once again, cosmetics, and that interior for people who like house decorating. They kind of give some of these away for free, actually, just during events, and like every season they come out with something new. So yeah, like once again, housing. If you like doing that, more power to you. It's not required, but I think it's fine. Okay, mount is where we get into the certain like things that may be good or maybe not good. Horse gear. It actually does give stats for your horse, but it's like very minimal, like acceleration. Like just look at what you need. I think it's worth it ultimately to get one. It's kind of like cosmetics, but for your mount. Ships in the future, Carracks are gonna get skins, which is pretty awesome. Miscellaneous is where things get interesting. I do think a trainer's flute is important. Ultimately, if you play one character, I would actually just recommend buying one, the Celestial Horse. You could call it. So the difference is, you can call it the regular trainer's flute. You can call your horse up to 500 meters. This one is the same thing, except you could call your horse from basically anywhere. You could buy it off the market in the Pearl Shop as well. Under Mount, you could buy a trainer's flute. And then there is a quest line, which I don't know, but it's like a stupid amount of days to get one for free. But I mean, if you're on a budget, you're on a budget. So that is one thing I would highly recommend getting. At least a trainer's flute. but there is a quest line you can get for free. It's a one-time thing. Pets are something that you will need, especially if you grind. They do give a lot of them away from events, so you could also buy them off the market. I don't think there are any listed right now, but like if you just are patient enough, you could get it. Where are they? Pearl, pets. Yeah, just put an order on, see what's listed the most, and then wait for it. They do give them away quite often, and sometimes when they're events, you can get them for free. So depending on how much patience you have, I do think they are worth it. Well, let's try that again. I do think they are worth it. Pets are also one of those things that are a huge money sink, because when you get them, they come at tier 1, and then you have to upgrade them to tier 4 to get maximum value. However, if you are free to play, tier 1 pets are better than not having pets. So try to get 5 pets. No matter how the stats are, they will loot for you, and that's the most important part. Tier 4 obviously better, but having them versus not having them is a huge difference. So you're just gonna have to look at the effects. Some are like premium, classic, and they kind of do like different things, like detect enemies, find special resources, and whatnot. So I would say if you're gonna buy pets, wait for the important ones to come out that are like limited time, like the polar bear or the hedgehog that comes around every now and then. The Arctic fox, I think, is the... Hold on. Which one is the important one? Okay, so hedgehog is important because it gives you life skill, or it allows you to get occasional double drops with the loot for life skilling. Polar bears increase your weight. Everything else, this one is like item drop rate, which is pretty important. Everything else kind of like up to you. The dragon one gives extra HP. You could buy that off the market very rarely, but you can. Yeah, that's about it. Just wait for the special ones. And let's see, beauty is just cosmetic. I support cosmetic things. Pets are having it versus not having it, I think is good. If you're gonna get a mount, get a flute if you can. I think that's important. Everything else here, less relevant. Housing, optional. Cosmetics, again, up to you. A lot of these things like you would skip. I do think value pack is the most important thing. Other buffs, you could get these off the market. And maids, you kind of get them for free every now and then, but like one of those, you get them as you need them. Campsite, wait for it to go on sale. It is important. Fairy, hard to recommend. Weight is more important than inventory. Optional. Slot expansions are as you need it. And loyalty, get the loyalty ones, the important. Weight, the Nadara's parchment, family inventory, any storage that goes on sale, and get the premium costumes. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers up the Pearl Shop, what you should and shouldn't get. If you have any other questions, I know, once again, I am on NA where costumes are just readily available to buy, at least now they are. But if you are on EU or whatnot, they might not be. So once again, up to you. Hopefully this helped you in a way. I know if you have any questions or you're just like, hey, what should I get? Hopefully this helped. But again, if you have any questions, join the Discord or leave it in the comments. I'll try to get back to you. With that said, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow.